How to stand out from the competition. Hey guys, we are live and let's see. Are we live? I think we are live. Yes. Sorry, I think I was like staring into space for a second as I was trying to figure out my device because I couldn't go live into our Facebook group from my computer for some reason. So I've got two devices going on here. We're live on my computer, on YouTube, and on some parts of Facebook, and we're live in the Facebook group on my phone. So, okay, there we go. Thank goodness for devices. Okay, apologies, guys. If I was like sitting here going like this for a second and you're like, what is she doing? Anyway, good to see everybody here. Welcome to the Pro Singer Success Collective. Technology glitches aside, glad you're here. We're going to be talking about something really cool today, which is how to stand out above the competition. And it's like the thing, guys. It's the thing. If you want to do this professionally, if you want to be able to make money in your career, if you want to be able to land gigs and get higher paying gigs and get more elite opportunities, and not only that, but get cast if you're an opera singer or a Broadway singer, and you need to be able to show up to auditions and be able to do that. Standing out from the competition is not just about standing out in auditions and stuff like that to be able to land a role. It's also about being able to sorry, I'm seeing a comment on here that says I'm frozen. It doesn't show me I'm frozen. It might be your computer, Lisa. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. Technology has been a bitch today, but we're here. So it's not just about standing out from the competition if you are an opera singer or a Broadway singer and you have to audition a lot. It's also about if you are a recording artist and you are making records and they're just like languishing without any mainstream attention. You get like 1,000 plays and that's it. And like nobody, there's no traction, right? Well, your recordings, your voice, your performance on those recordings, it's not standing out from the competition. So the purpose of this, guys, is because if you are going to be able to do this sustainably, then standing out from the competition is something that is essential. And this is not to say that you need to be like uber competitive, meaning this is not to say that you need to always be looking over your shoulder at what everybody else is doing. That's not what I'm talking about. But what I'm talking about is that your job as a performer, as a singer, is to make an impact on your audience. That's it. That is your number one job as a singer. And a singer who doesn't make that kind of massive impact on their audience, whether it's an audience at a performance, whether it's an audience of somebody who's auditioning you, sitting behind the audition table or doing a showcase or something, it doesn't matter. If you don't make that giant impact, then they're not going to hire you. They're not going to listen to your record. They're not going to do the thing that allows you to continue to do your thing. Okay. So impact is the thing. Also, because impact equals income. If you're not making an impact, you're not standing above the competition. And so people are not going to buy tickets to your show. They're going to buy tickets to somebody else's show. If you're not making an impact, you're not standing above the competition enough so that if you're auditioning for a Broadway show, for an opera, you will not get cast and then you will not be able to bring in income. And in my experience of 25 years of doing this and helping singers be able to up level their careers to be able to fix all the things that are stopping them from succeeding at the highest level, in my experience, the impact is in direct, like, commensurate response to how much income you will make. Impact equals income. Like, it's that simple. So if you're a singer who's watching this and you're putting yourself out there for a lot of stuff, you are auditioning, you are hustling, you are pitching for gigs, you're sending yourself out to venues and festivals and stuff, you're going to auditions and you're just not getting the response you want. Like, let's say, for example, you're a solo artist or you have a band and you're submitting for a lot of summer festivals or a lot of gigs in your area, or to submitting for management and for bigger opportunities. If you're doing that and nobody's responding to you, You haven't, you're not making the kind of impact that you need to. Your recordings, your videos, your performances. If you're going to a lot of auditions and you're not getting in the callbacks, those auditions are not making the kind of impact they need to stand out above the other singers. If this is happening to you, I feel you. It sucks because you feel like you're doing everything you know how to do, and still there's something missing. Like, you have it in you. You could be reaching that potential and making that kind of impact, but there's just something that is not reading to the audience at the level that you feel you're bringing it. And this, my friends, is the number one reason why singers who are talented otherwise are not standing out from the competition, is because there is an impact gap. So what is the impact gap? The impact gap is the gap between the performance that you feel you are giving and the result that the audience is getting. So how many of you feel like you go up to do an audition or a showcase, or you submit for gigs and you're putting forth videos of your best recordings and your best performances, and you feel like in those moments you were on fire, like you were just bringing it at another level. So you feel like you're making a huge impact. But then you don't get hired for the gig. You don't get in the callbacks for the audition. You don't get offered the role. The management doesn't respond to you. You don't get booked for the gig. And you're like, what the F? Like, what the heck is going on? Because you think and you feel like you're bringing it, and yet the result is not compatible with that. It's not getting the result that you would think you would get based on what you are giving. How many of you feel that way? Tell me in the chat. Like, tell me if you are having that experience. Because if you are, you have an impact gap. There is a gap between the impact that you feel you are making and the result that you are actually getting, which is the impact that the audience is actually getting, whoever's watching you. And I say this just not to be mean, but to like just not sugarcoat for you guys, because you don't deserve me to just blow smoke up your butt and sugarcoat everything for you. Like, an impact gap is a career killer. Because most of the time, singers who are experiencing impact gap, the reason they're not standing out from the competition is because of this impact gap, and they want to blame everybody. They want to look at everything else and point the finger at everything else as to why this is happening, instead of the one thing that would change everything, which is the impact that they are creating. They think that the reason that they're not getting hired, the reason that they're not booking the gigs or winning the auditions or getting the management, right? The reason that other singers are getting it is they think, oh, I don't have the right team. I don't have the right producer. I don't have the right marketing. Excuse. And I'm just like, I'm just going to hardcore you guys right now. If you're in these excuses and you've been pointing these fingers for years and nothing is changing, you've changed different, you've had a different team, you've had different producers, you're doing different, and still you're not at that elite level where you want to go, you have an impact gap. And that begins and ends with your energy and your voice in that moment of performance on stage. Because you're not making the impact you need to on those who are listening, so that they go, yes, that's the person I want to hire. That's the band who's going to, play for this gig. That's the artist that I want to represent. And it sucks because nobody wants to really hear, oh, it's me. We don't want to hear that. Like, that really is not what feels good. We want to think it's all these other things, and if we can just fix all these other things. But the truth is, the only thing that is going to help you stand out from the competition to book these elite gigs is your impact. That's it. When you think of the big artists out there who have huge careers, whether you think they have an amazing voice or not, whether you like what they do or not, doesn't matter. What matters is they know how to make an impact with their energy, with their skill set, with their mindset, whether it's something that they just innately know. And some performers are just born with it. Lucky them. Other singers, they have been taught how to do that. So, somebody comes to mind. I use this example a lot, but it's just a fantastic example. Like, you think about Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan, like weird voice, weird voice. And yet the man knows how to make an impact with what he's got when he gets on that stage, and he has for 50 or more years. So all of this is to say, get really honest with yourself for a second. Do you have an impact gap? Are you hustling and putting yourself out there and auditioning and recording and performing and doing all this stuff, and it's not getting the results that you would think based on the amount of time and energy and effort that you're putting into this? And if that's true, then you have an impact gap. And nothing is going to break you through to that next level until you understand how to increase your impact, how to maximize your impact, how to tap into that last 10% of your potential. Because, guys, that is what makes the difference between good and great. Those of you who are out there, you are performing, you are auditioning, you're making money doing what you're doing, but you still have to have a side job. You're not able to do it at the highest level. The big gigs that you really want are going to other people. Okay, let's just see what is without judgment, which is I'm not making the impact that I need to at the level that I need to get those higher level elite opportunities, and the people who could facilitate that for me, or the fans who could bring that to me, I'm just not getting their attention. There is a gap between the impact that I am making and what the audience, those listening, receive. So there's a lot that goes into increasing impact. Number one, your skill set. What you are able to do with your voice. Powerfully, consistently, reliably, bring it at the highest level of impact when it counts the most. And there is a foundational level of technique that's needed in order to do that. And there are singers who, understand how to get the most out of their instrument. And then there are those who don't. And there are also singers who think that they're getting the most out of their instrument. But what they don't realize is that if they just had a much more efficient foundational level in their skill set of how they use their instrument, they'd actually be able to get like so much more power and consistency and impact out of their voice. So number one thing to look at if you're experiencing an impact gap is, okay, what are the things that I've kind of gotten away with, that I've kind of skated through, that I've never really addressed, that is not allowing me in my technique, in my skill set, that's not allowing me to tap into the full potential of my God-given instrument. We're all born with a certain God-given capability and instrument. And most singers that I come across who have an impact gap do not have the technical tools to maximize the talent that they are given, to maximize the voice that they are given. So that's number one. Look at your skill set. Number two, look at your mindset. Are there ways? Are there ways you are getting in your own way that you do not see? Are there beliefs that you hold? Are there excuses that you allow yourself to, sorry guys, wallow in, like because I know how talented you are, all of you. And I don't want you to get stuck in your excuses. I don't want you to get stuck in limiting beliefs, in stories that you have been telling yourself for years that have been keeping you in this impact gap. There's skill set, there's mindset, there's also artistry. The artistry piece is huge when it comes to impact. Do you know who you are as a singer, as an artist? Do you know what your special sauce is? What makes you different than other singers? Do you know what your lane is? The music that just loves your voice, that is just like, fits like a glove. Do you know who you are as an artist? Or do you find that you're just like a really good parrot? You know how to make your voice sound like other singers who are successful, but you don't really know who you are, what your unique sound is, what your special sauce is. And so a lot of singers who get to a certain point, and you're booking gigs and you can make some money, but at the end of the day, you're not making it to that elite level because you don't know what your special sauce is. We have a Beyonce, we have a Pavarotti, we have Kristen Chenoweth. What we don't have is you. But a lot of singers are so busy thinking they need to sound like this person to be successful, look like that person to be successful. Oh, that's the kind of music that person is doing. Okay, that's what I'm going to do to be successful because that's what's in right now. And a lot of singers are not making the impact that they otherwise could because they are not tapped into what is special and unique about them. And so if you're not standing out from the competition, think about it. If you're trying to sound like the same way that everybody else sounds, if you're trying to do what everybody else does, how are you going to stand out? How are you going to make an impact? You don't. And so you only get so far. And you can get so far doing that. But the big opportunities, the big career, the big money goes to those who are doing something that is them. They're not trying to be anybody else. They're not trying to sound like anybody else. The world already has those people. What the world does not have is you. And so then it becomes an inquiry on, well, what is my special sauce? What is my lane? What is unique about me and my voice? And you can't do that if you don't have technical mastery over your skill set, over your instrument, because how could you? If you don't have the capability to know how to tap the potential of what your instrument is, how could you know what is unique about you? And the same thing about your mindset. If you have weeds in the mindset and limiting beliefs and things going on up here that are not allowing you to see that which is truly you because you judge it and you think it's not good enough and you think it's unworthy, right? So there's like all the ways that we get in the weeds about all of this stuff, which is what is stopping you from standing out from the competition because it is diminishing your impact. So look at, just get really honest. Where are the gaps in my skill set? Where are the gaps in my mindset, the things that I notice that I'm constantly aligning with that are sabotaging me? Look at the things going on in your artistry. And if you recognize that there are issues here, then don't stay on the bench. Do whatever you need to do to address these things. Whether it's coming to do one of our workshops, whether it's coming to work in our intensive training program, whether it's finding a teacher in your area or something like a training program or something in your area, it must address these three things, guys. If it does not, then it is not going to get you where you want to go. Because most singers, most of you guys watching here, you have training. You've done a lot of training. And the reason why it's not getting you where you want to go is because it doesn't address all three quadrants. It probably just addresses technique. And that's a part of it. But in the absence of the rest of it, impact gap, you stay here. And there's a gap between what you're creating and how good you feel like you're doing and what the results are in the real world in your career that you're actually getting. Okay. So one of the things that I want to just remind you guys of is that we're doing a Pro Singer Career Accelerator workshop starting next Monday. And we're going to be addressing all of this stuff, like in detail, skill set, technique, foundation, how to tap into that last 10% of the potential of your instrument. Most of you, you know how to get to the 90%. Traditional training will do that, but it doesn't get where you want to go. We're going to do mindset. We're going to do a lot of mindset because skill set in the absence of mindset means nothing because your brain will continue to sabotage your body from doing it. And same thing with your artistry. It won't feel safe if there's stuff in your mindset telling you, oh, that's scary to be vulnerable and to be seen and to let my sound be heard when I don't think it's good enough. But that good enough shit, oh, sorry, because we're live. That good enough stuff, that's mindset. That's mindset. So this is an opportunity, a free opportunity, you guys. By the way, like if you're watching this and you have not, and you're a pro singer and you're like commiserating with everything I'm saying, and you have not signed up for our Pro Singer Career Accelerator workshop, what are you doing? This is free. Don't complain that nobody wants to support my career. Nobody, do it. Get your butt in that seat. Okay. Here, I'm gonna put the registration link in both places for you guys so you have it because we're live. If you came in late, I was having technical difficulties, so I'm like live in some groups on my phone and live in other groups on my laptop. So bear with me here. Okay. Well, no. Okay, so this is link to register for the Pro Singer Career Accelerator Masterclass series. Okay. Series. Here it is. Okay, there you go. So that's in one place. And I will come into the chat in the Facebook group after this and do it because on my phone, I don't know, you guys, I'm useless. I don't know how to use my device. So I'll do it in a minute. In any case, it's all over the Facebook group. So you should be able to find it. Point being is that we're going to do mindset. We're going to do skill set. We're going to talk about artistry because the whole point is how are you going to get to this next point in your career if you don't know how to stand out from the competition? And how are you going to stand out from the competition if you don't know how to tap into the maximum impact that you are capable of to eliminate this impact gap? Because it is the impact gap that kills careers, guys, because most singers don't notice that they're in it. So look at the results that you're creating. Look at how hard you're working. Look at how much you've invested in your career. Look at your training. Look at all of this. And if the results are not commensurate with that amount of energy and effort and investment, you have an impact gap. And nothing will change. And I say this not to be mean. Nothing will change until you fix that. And that's what we're here to help you do. And the best place to start is come to the Career Accelerator Workshop, the Pro Singer Career Accelerator Workshop. Now, here's a caveat. And by the way, the registration is everywhere. It starts Monday. It's a 7-day workshop. It's online. It's free. We're going to do skill set, mindset, all the good stuff. Okay. Now, that said, if you're not doing all the things, if you're not putting yourself out there, hustling, auditioning, performing, recording, doing all the things to really make this career successful, then the question that you need to ask yourself is, what is stopping me? Do I feel like I'm not consistent in my ability to deliver when it counts? Like, do I not really trust the consistency of my voice? Like sometimes it's awesome and sometimes it's not. And I never really know what's going to happen. And so I'm like crossing my fingers and like hoping, right? That could be a reason why you're not putting yourself out there. Could also be that somebody has told you that you're never going to make it, that it's not a realistic thing for it to have a career as a professional singer. And so you've always just kind of backburnered your desire and you've never gone after it. You know, there are reasons why. Start to get clear on what that is, because there's like layers. It's like, I don't know, this just came into my head because my daughter and I were watching Shrek the other day and he's like, ogres have layers. He's like a parfait, right? Singers have layers. You're like a parfait, right? And you got to understand the layers to understand what's motivating you and what's stopping you at the same time. Because again, it's one thing if you're out there and you're not succeeding because you have this giant impact gap. It's another thing if you don't even know because you're not even putting yourself out there. And so you get data, guys. You get data by doing things and by putting yourself out there. That's the way we learn. Is we got to do the thing. We got to see where we succeed, where we fall short. We get data. We know what we have to fix. We get help to do that. And then we take another shot. And then we do better this time. And then we look at what we did. We look at what maybe didn't happen the way we want. We get data. We say, oh, this is what needs work. Going to get help on that. Do that. Okay, now I'm going to take another shot, right? But like if you're not even taking shots, like ask yourself, why? What do I need? What do I need to feel more confident at? What do I need to feel more skilled at? What do I need? And then do whatever you need to do to get those skills, to get that, so that you can start getting out there. Because, you know, it's like they say, if a tree falls in a forest and nobody hears it, did it really fall? Well, if a singer's just continuing to sing in her bathroom and nobody's sharing that with her, is she really a singer? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't really know the answer to that. But it's like the whole purpose, the whole reason we do this, guys, is to be able to share it with the most amount of people at the highest level. And if that's your goal, then just start to look dispassionately. Just look at the data, not the drama. I tell this to my singers all the time. If you're not, do I have an impact gap? What do I need to fix? Am I not even putting myself out there because there's skills that I need and there's confidence that I need? Okay, what do I need to do? And then do it. And if you are scared, Do it scared. You get to be scared and you get to do it anyway, because otherwise, if you just keep doing things the same way, you're just going to keep getting what you've always gotten. And that to me is the ultimate regret. That if I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at something that I want to change in my life, and I just keep doing it the same way and the same way, and I'm not actually getting any new data, then I'm just going to keep creating the same things and the same things. And then I'm not going to move the needle on anything I want. And then I'm going to have massive regret. So all of this is to say, coming back to our original topic, the idea of how to stand out from the competition. Okay. Well, first of all, you got to be in the competition, putting yourselves out there, making records, releasing records, sending out audition tapes, going to live auditions, getting in front of management. Okay. If you don't feel confident enough to be doing that, then get the help you need to get the skill set and the mindset to be able to be in the game, be in the competition. Now, if you're doing all of that, if you are in the game, if you are in the competition and you are not seeing the results you want, do I have an impact gap? Likely, yes. And what kind of help do I need to fix it? And then come to the free workshop to get some immediate help, some immediate tools to understand what is going on in my skill set, in my technique, with my voice. Why am I not tapping into that full potential? What am I missing? And here's the thing, guys, you don't know what you don't know. Most of you think, oh, I've had training. I guess this is how far I can go. Maybe you think, I don't know, I can't go any further. And to me, I'm like, that's BS. I could always take a singer and make them into a better singer as long as they're coachable, committed, resourceful, right? So be those things. Come to the workshop, start to get some tools, and then start to understand, oh, when I approach the audition this way, when I approach my recording this way, I get a much different reaction. I get a much different impact. I get a much greater impact. This is how our singers who do my training program, this is why they succeed, because they understand now what they need to do to bridge that impact gap and get to where they want to go. So, super excited to be able to share that with you guys starting next week. Register if you haven't. I'm going to come into the Facebook group in a minute when I get off this device, and I'll post the link in the chat for everybody. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are watching. I see a lot of you here. I see Chris. I see Benny. I see Jedediah. Marie's watching. Lisa's watching. Hello. I see Kathy's watching. Some of you, if I don't see you if I don't see you in the chat, it's not that I don't see you watching. It's just that you're not in the chat, so I don't know. But say hi in the chat. Who else? Who did I not mention? Who's here that I didn't say hi to? I see we've got like 8 other people. Say hi. Who are you? Tell me who you are. Put your name in the chat. I want to say hi, and I want to know that you're here. All right, guys. That's enough of me on my soapbox today. If you have more questions about what the impact gap is, how to fix it, how to know if you're stuck in it, and if you need more information that I've given you on all that stuff today, just put a comment in the chat and ask me a question. I always come back in here and I will answer you. And come to the workshop. We're going to do live coaching. I say, who wants to be a guinea pig to coach on this particular thing? And people raise their hands, so there's an opportunity for that. And we're going to give you things like exercises and things for your mindset, for your skill set. We're going to give you MP3s that you can practice with for all the sort of game-changing high-level technique that I'm going to teach you. We're going to do mindset stuff, and I'm going to give you some really specific mindset tools in the form of some PDFs and some recordings to really help you get your mind on board with your body, so that we're linking mind-body connection, because that is also one of the biggest things in terms of standing out from the competition, is making sure that mind-body connection is really linked, because it's really impossible to make an impact when both of these things are not operating to their highest potential. And then you have either mind or body sabotaging the entire instrument. And it's impossible to make a big impact when that's happening. So we're going to do that. I see Susan's here. Hi, Susan. Good to see you. So yeah. All right. At this point, I feel like I'm just rattling. So I'm not going to keep you guys any longer unless you have any specific questions. You can always put them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them later. All right, everybody. Mwah. Have an amazing rest of your day. Register for the workshop. Link is in the chat, and I will see you guys next time.